Today, we're joined by Kay Harms, the creator behind Dress for My Day, a channel serving women over 50 who want to look modern without chasing trends.
It's very important to me that I don't just sell clothes or even give fashion tips, but I want to encourage women. I really love having a voice in women's lives.
Kay started as a blogger in 2018 and launched her YouTube channel the week before the world shut down in March of 2020. At what point did you feel after starting your YouTube channel that was a good decision?
Oh, almost right away.
Since then, she's built a real business through both her blog and her YouTube channel.
I said, if you give me 2 years, I think I can turn this thing to where it really is bringing in income. And sure enough, we were seeing a significant income.
In this conversation, we break down how she grew on YouTube, her take on the affiliate platforms like ShopMY and LTK.
One thing that's going really well right now is I've been trying to lean into using those YouTube affiliate links more. Their commissions sometimes are higher.
Along with all of her different monetization strategies. And then we do a little bit of a deep dive behind her email list, and she gives a lot of great tips if you want to start your own email newsletter. We'll also get into the tightrope of serving viewers versus sponsorships and what her plans are for the future of her and her channel. Hi, I'm Erika Vieira, YouTube strategist, producer, and coach to nearly 2,000 women YouTube creators. This is real talk for women who want to win on YouTube, busting myths, preventing burnout, and creating revenue. For more information about me and how I work with people just like you, check out the links in the description below. Ladies, class is in session. All right, so I was watching one of your videos, and there's a moment where you said, and it was a behind the scenes video that you did about behind the scenes of your YouTube channel. And there's a moment where you said that every morning when you wake up, you pray for your work, for your audience, and that this is part of your morning routine. And if you forget this, or if you don't do this part of your morning routine, you feel like you mess up a little bit during the day. How has your role and your background in ministry shaped your approach to YouTube and your work on YouTube and what might some say as a superficial niche like fashion?
Oh, wow. That's like a packed question, but absolutely. I mean, just this morning I was doing that. I was praying because of this interview, and I really like to guard my words, and be careful. And I was really thinking, because I've just come home from a vacation of sorts, went to see family and had a big birthday surprise for my mom, and she just turned 90. And I was thinking, I've got a lot to do. I've got so much to do this week. And sometimes that gets me feeling overwhelmed. And then I start like grabbing for straws, and I just start, hustling and not really thinking through things. And also I lose the joy in all of it and just becomes kind of miserable. And so I did. I prayed that I would, have the joy in this, and that I'd think about my YouTube viewers, my blog readers, because I have learned that my channel and my website, the success of those things really depends on me treating this like a service. I have to continuously serve my viewer, serve my reader, not just make money, and not just, put on a show or, get a lot of views or whatever. I have to think about serving them. And so I really do have to think about who they are, what they might need, and encouragement. And that's another thing I do, like you mentioned. It's very important to me that I don't just sell clothes or even give fashion tips, but I want to encourage women. And so, I used to have a ministry where I did a lot of speaking in churches to women's groups, and also women's Bible studies and things like that. And so that has shifted for me, but I still very much see myself in ministry. It's just a different role now. And to me, it's very much about encouraging women, especially in this season of life that I'm in right now, and encouraging women to keep getting dressed for their day and showing up for the people around them, but also just showing up for themselves, for their self-esteem, and staying in the game. And so, when I constantly just remind myself of that, bring myself back to that focal point, then I really think it helps me with my work. It helps me to enjoy it better, and it helps me to do a better job.
I find it so interesting that, you were a stay-at-home mom. You were 20 years in ministry. And then at 54, you decided to start a fashion blog.
Right.
What was happening in your life that made you think, well, now I'm going to be a fashion blogger.
I know, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of things. It's kind of the perfect storm in that my kids had left the nest. In fact, they were both out of college at that point. And so I had been a stay-at-home mom for all those years, and I was bringing a little bit of money here and there, but not much. So there were several things. One thing, I wanted to start contributing something to our income so that we could retire eventually. We don't want to work forever. And so, but I had not done that in years. I hadn't contributed really anything to our income. And so I wanted to do that. But honestly, I didn't want anybody else to be the boss of me because I had been my boss for all those years and gotten really used to it and really enjoyed it. So I knew I wanted to do something, really a business that I could start myself. At the same time, that Christmas before that March when we started all this, my husband had gotten a camera. He never had a camera before, really. So he got a new camera to start taking landscape photography. We lived out in Arizona. Of course, there's lots of beautiful places to, take pictures. And so really he had gotten a camera for that purpose. I also had followed some fashion bloggers and YouTubers for a number of years already, and I liked what they did. They really, served me. I got a lot from them, and I thought, I think I can do that. I'm not a fashion stylist, professional stylist, but I thought I do have a journalism degree, and I know how to do the research, and I know how to communicate. So I thought, I think I can put those things together. If I can get my husband to take pictures of me, then I could get this going. So when I started, in March of 2018 is when I started my blog. It was really as a business. I know some people kind of wander into this like as a hobby or just like an outlet. But for me, it was very much something I wanted to turn into a business that really did generate a good income. And so I committed to, at that time, posting on my blog 6 times a week, being very consistent and making sure I really served the women I was trying to reach. And I also was committed to high quality. So I wanted everything to be really good. And so I did that for 2 years. And what we decided, my husband agreed to do that. He never really got to do any landscape photography at that point. But he very willingly and gladly started taking photos of me, and he learned along the way. But I told him, I said, if you give me 2 years, I think I can turn this thing to where it really is bringing in income. And sure enough, 2 years later in 2020, we were seeing a significant income. And that is when we decided to branch into YouTube also, because not only I do love to write and I'm a good writer, but I also do love to speak. And being in front of an audience doesn't bother me. In fact, I really feel like I could connect a little bit more with my followers that way. And I wanted to do that. So we bought all the equipment and got ready to go. And once again, it was one of those things we committed to posting a YouTube video once a week. We committed to serving my followers, and we committed to high quality all the way.
Wow. So you started your YouTube channel, was it before or after the pandemic happened?
Yeah. So interestingly, it was like January of 2020 that we decided to do this or really, go for it. And we began to buy the equipment, and I began to plan ahead. And we did launch. I'm not really sure. I'd have to go back and check, but I think our first video went up like the Wednesday before or right around that same time. And so it just happened that we launched right at the pandemic, the beginning of the pandemic. And so that did serve us well. I mean, that worked for my benefit for sure. But we had already planned to go live then. Yeah.
Wow. Why, you mentioned, okay, you like talking to people, but what were you not getting from blogging that you felt like you could get from YouTube? Was it more like scaling income? Was it, were there other factors involved?
There are definitely other factors. I thought, I didn't know really anything about what income you could make from YouTube. I figured you could make an income, kind of like what I was doing on the blog. But it was really more about being able to relate to my followers in a different way. I just felt like, when you write a blog post, it's static. You put it out, then people will have questions, and you can do your best to answer questions in the comments, but you can't really explain everything. You can't twirl around. You can't, it's just very different. And I wanted the ability to explain more, to talk more, and for people to kind of get to know me, like 3-dimension wise, like multi-dimension wise. So I think that has served us well. I really like being able to relate to my viewers with a little bit more going on than just the written word. Yeah.
Did your husband take on that role of kind of the tech camera guy when it came to the YouTube as well?
Yes. So he sets us up for our video sessions. We have an older home, so we don't have big spacious rooms or, lots of nice lighting really. So we have one room that we can shoot in, and we have to shoot across like a diagonal across the room in order for us to get far enough with the lens he uses and everything. But so he sets up multiple lights, box lights and, little lights, and actually set up multiple cameras too. And so he does all that. I do the editing on their videos, but he does all the shooting and the sound and all that. Yeah.
Oh, so you do the editing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are you still doing one video a week?
Yes, for the most part.
Okay.
Sometimes during the holidays, as sponsorships come in, I tend to do 2 a week, but for the most part, 1. Mm-hmm.
And at what point did you feel after starting your YouTube channel that was a good decision?
Oh, almost right away. Yeah, I was able to transfer a lot of my, I picked up a lot of viewers and subscribers really pretty quickly because I had such a good following on my blog, and I also have a newsletter. So I have a really good email list. So that definitely helps. And then I did some other things that helped to build the channel pretty quickly. And just almost right off the bat, I could just see a difference. And I felt like even the people who were following me on my blog were learning more about me and just, relating more I was able to relate more to them. And they were maybe just felt a little bit more personable. So yeah, really right off the bat.
What were some of those things that you did that helped you grow more quickly at the beginning?
Well, so one of the things that I constantly, anytime somebody asks about how to grow a channel, I tell them this little secret. I had another YouTuber. Her name is Robin, and she's with Faith and Flower, and so she does house cleaning videos. She reached out to me. I was following her, and I guess she started following me, and she reached out to me and offered to do a collaboration, where we came up with the idea of doing fall capsule wardrobes. And she really wears a capsule wardrobe, and I don't really. I have gobs of clothes because of what I do. But I put together a capsule wardrobe. We just did them differently. And then, of course, we sent our viewers to each other's YouTube channels. That was a tremendous boost for me. Now, she sent a lot of new subscribers my way. And I think that's because we were reaching the same demographic, but from different verticals.
Yeah.
And that was just huge. So I always tell people, hey, if you can find somebody in your same demographic, but a different vertical, that's going to give you new, eyes on your video, not just the ones who are probably already watching you anyway. So that really helped. And I did get, do some other collaborations like that with other fashion YouTubers, but nothing has been quite as incremental as that one was.
And do you recall like how big your channel was at the time and how many new subscribers you got?
Yeah, so I think I was running about 18,000, subscribers at that time. And with that one collaboration, I think I got over the 40,000 mark.
Oh, wow.
So almost, more than doubled. And then it just set me on a really nice trajectory. And I just started growing more and more because I guess, maybe the algorithm and everything just kind of kicked in more with that particular video.
And it was just one video that you did on her channel and then she did on your channel?
Yeah, we just did our own videos, but we just said, hey, we're doing this with each other. We showed little, something at the beginning of the video about each other type thing. And then at the end said, hey, go see Robin's video now. And she did the same thing. And I just think that really helped a lot.
You said you started your channel maybe around March of 2020. How far into your channel was this collaboration? Meaning, like, where were we on the time?
It was just that either August or September.
So there's a lot of things working in your favor because it was a collaboration. And in 2020, a lot of YouTube channels blew up. So it's like all the stars were aligning. And you're amazing on camera. So it's like all these things together. It's like, boom, so it's like that lightning in the bottle, which is absolutely incredible for you. So that's amazing. I know that you've mentioned before the tightrope of serving viewers, which you talked about so eloquently at the beginning of this interview, but also, working with sponsors and generating an income from this because this is a business for you, especially from the get-go. Can you walk me through a specific time where you had to make a difficult decision between what a sponsor wanted, or even just, what might generate more income and then what you felt was right for your audience?
Well, I've turned down some sponsorships as time has gone on. I get a lot of offers for skincare, either products or just whole skincare lines and everything. And then I end up having, which is so weird to me but I do have some viewers who'll say, "Hey, wait a minute. I thought you use this skincare. What happened to that?" And I'll say, "Well, this is my job, and part of my job is trying different things and sharing them with you. So I don't apologize for sharing other ones, but I just began to realize that people were getting confused, and so that did kind of make me slow down and think about how many skincare type, things I do. And so I've, said no to a lot of, evidently skincare has a lot of money to spend. I think, beauty in general has
Beauty
more
does.
money to spend than fashion even.
Yes, yeah.
So you get a lot of offers from them. And I've just realized that people just, especially maybe it's in my demographic. I don't know. They want me to use one skincare. Well, I don't do that, but I have to be very clear about, okay, I'm showing this skincare because it's more affordable. I think it's a great option. And so I just have to really be careful about how I word things like that. I try to be very careful to, I guess early on, I did probably take some sponsorships. I can't even remember any specifically that I regret or anything, but I was probably so happy to have them that I probably took on some that weren't really genuine to my personal style or the styles that I normally showed. And people call you out on that pretty quickly. And I have at this point gotten much more picky about who I will take a sponsorship with. Also, I'll take a few with fashion brands here and there, but those are the ones I think my viewers really do like. But I don't take a lot of fashion brand videos sponsors because it really works better for me to work with sponsors that have nothing to do with fashion, and that way it gives me more freedom to talk about the fashions and to show different clothes and different brands in that sponsored video. And still, even then, I always have somebody who'll say, they don't like that sponsor or whatever. But I just have to, at this point, I've decided, okay, I can't listen to every squeaky wheel. I have to make some decisions looking at the big picture, and I'm the one who has that picture. So.
And do you have a manager you work with?
No, I don't. I interviewed with a manager or somebody who was a YouTube a manager type thing for to help you get sponsorships and everything about a year ago, and they definitely wanted to take me on, but I just decided I was getting plenty of sponsorships without that, and why would I need to give somebody else a cut? That really wasn't going to help me any. I get more offers than I can take right now for sponsors. I have really cut back. Especially during the holidays, I do end up taking a lot. They just get plentiful. But during most of the year, I try to only take 2 or 3 at the most in the month. And that still only leaves me, 1, 2, or 3 unsponsored videos. But I really do try to keep it at about half and half. So.
Okay, that's was my next question. Like, do you have a goal like every month? I want to have a certain amount, or so you said about half?
Yes, about half, no more than half. I say that, but honestly, there are times in the year when it gets a little heavy on sponsors. And that's why I try to be really careful about who I do work with. And at this point, all of my sponsors are ones I do enjoy. They're easy to work with for me. And they're ones that I think my viewers either like or they don't mind, at least.
So at what point did the ROI from YouTube start to make sense? Because obviously at the beginning, you're putting time and energy. So when in this process of starting your channel, did you finally start really making some money from it?
Well, pretty quickly, once again, because what is it you have to get to
1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
That happened within the subscribers happened within a few weeks
Mhm.
because I was able to bring some over from my blog. And then the watch time happened as soon as, those videos did pretty well. So
Mhm.
it happened about as fast as you can too.
Mhm.
So I don't know, a month or two, I was getting ad play, but also I was able to link things in my description box from the very beginning, and I was already
Mhm.
and generate sales there. So that was just another place to put my links. So it started, and other than the outlay, the initial outlay for equipment, there's no cost, So, which I mean, that was a significant cost, but we were able to recoup that pretty quickly. So, really, very soon, within the first 2 or 3 months, we were definitely seeing a a good little income from it, attached to my other already income streams.
In fashion, though, people do say the cost really is the clothing, how much clothing you have to
Hmm.
buy because so much of it
Hmm.
is the hauls and getting more clothing and more clothing. How do you work that out in kind of the business sense of like how much you're spending, of that versus, what you're going to get back from that? And how do you decide how much to spend? Do you return the clothes? Do you keep them? Do you donate them?
Good question. So just this morning, when my husband and I were having coffee in our living room, and I came home yesterday, like I said, from being away for a week and a half, and had a huge mound of boxes and orders and everything. But I looked through most of it last night, and I told him only 3 of the things in this entire, huge pile of boxes did I pay for. At this point, I'm being gifted so much stuff, and it's good. It's like the brands I already love and use and wear. And so I'm gifted and I'm so grateful for that. I'm gifted so much that I really don't have to do that buy and return thing anymore. I used to, and I still do occasionally, but not right really intentionally. It's only like if something doesn't fit or I just go, ooh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. I don't really buy hauls to return anymore. And so I'm very grateful for that. And so I do try to kind of budget myself. Another thing I did though to really cut back on that is I've really tried to focus on a little bit more on slow fashion. And I really try to help my viewers to build a wardrobe. And so often, and I think this helps my videos feel a little bit more inclusive too. I try to always provide not just things I'm selling, but fashion tips and outfit formulas and what's trending, and I want them to have some real takeaway at the end, so even if they don't want to shop anything, they've got a reason to come back next
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
So that keeping that in mind helps me to have a good balance, and it keeps me from having to order quite so much too, so I can just show the same things over and over, to a degree. um yeah, that helps.
Yeah, that definitely helps. And I know
Mhm.
people appreciate all the tips
Mhm.
too. I have heard though it can be tricky because so much of, at least in fashion, so much of the income does rely on affiliates, which
Mhm.
sometimes often is new clothing, right?
Mhm. Right.
Or making sure that whatever you're showing is still available to buy. And so what I've heard is that at least for some people, they feel that they are almost forced to do more hauls and buy more clothing in order to be able to sustain their income because
Mm.
so much of it is on affiliate. How have you dealt with that?
Yeah, so that is the constant temptation, especially, if I start watching, as you
Mhm,
do, I start watching other YouTubers or just on Instagram. If I start watching them, I think, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. I'm not showing enough. I need to order more clothes.
mhm,
But one thing I've done is this has kind of caused my price point to go up, and my price point of what I show is a little higher than what a lot of people show. I don't really do any Amazon or Walmart hauls or anything like that. It's a higher price point, but that means I make money faster on what I sell. So I try to find things that really have some staying power. Like just for instance, I do show like Veronica Beard blazers. Well, those things have been around since before I started blogging. So, I can show those year after year after year. Same thing with a lot of the other brands I work with. They keep offering the same things over and over. And so the things that are in my closet keep working. And I try to hold, like, every year when it's time to, change up my wardrobe at the end of the season, I get rid of anything that really was just that season, but I hold on to the gray turtleneck, the black pants, the, wide leg jeans. I hold on to those things that I think, okay, I can show them again next year. And they probably will even still have that same thing in the store. But if they don't, it's a similar, a black turtleneck is a black turtleneck,
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
thing. So.
What are you finding is doing really well on your channel now, as far as like both sales from an affiliate standpoint and just like content in general?
Well, one thing that's going really well right now is I've been trying to lean into using those YouTube affiliate links more,
The
and
YouTube
even the
shopping?
time stamping. And boy, that time stamping makes a huge difference. It
Yes.
really does. It works really well. And I have an assistant who goes in after I have, put the video up and timestamps everything for me. And that makes a big difference. Their commissions sometimes are higher
Sure.
even than some of the other affiliate programs I work with. And, the click-through rate or the
Clicks. Yeah, the
yeah,
clicks. Yeah.
and all that is just higher too. So that works really, really well.
Mhm.
People do want to see new clothes though. And so, yeah, I do definitely do sell more when I'm showing something new than when I'm showing the same thing over. But then again, I kind of think sometimes people like need to see things, what is it, like 8 times before they purchase. So it certainly doesn't hurt me to show things over and over again either. I do get sales from that. Yeah, the YouTube links make a big difference. And
Mhm.
I did really well, for instance, like in the Nordstrom anniversary sale, really leaning into that. That worked really nicely for me.
And when you say leaning into the Nordstrom's anniversary sale, are you just doing more than one video, or what does that look like for you?
So no, Nordstrom Anniversary Sale only did one video on the Nordstrom Anniversary Sale, but then I sent people back to it a lot. So in my blog post, in my newsletter, I did what I called an in-sale insiders newsletter, which was just a portion of my subscriber base that signed up to get a special newsletter about the Nordstrom Anniversary Sale. I probably sent out during the sale, I probably sent out about 12 of those. And in
12
all of them,
emails, like a
yes,
series?
yes.
Mm.
So in those emails, I always sent them back to that one YouTube video. In fact, I told them, hey,
Mm.
I make a higher commission with
Yeah,
YouTube links.
yeah,
So if
yeah.
you're going to shop, go shop through
Well,
this.
Nordstrom's gave a really good cut this year for the sale. A
They
lot of my
did.
clients did really well with the
Yes.
YouTube shopping for Nordstrom's.
Yes, that was
Mhm,
definitely the higher commission, but I use ShopMy and I use LTK, but you got a higher commission with YouTube. And then,
mhm,
of course, there was also that I was getting a bonus with YouTube
mhm.
too. So that I just kept sending them there, and that just did really well. And I also, um, I do have other places where I can show that video, like on my website and stuff, so I can put that video there. So it just did really well that way.
And your email list, that's kind of left over from your blog, but I'm
Uh-huh.
assuming that with your YouTube channel, you continue to push people onto your email list.
Right. I do. I have that down in my description box. And every once in a while, at the end of the video, I try to tell people to do one thing or another,
Mhm.
subscribe here or go subscribe to my newsletter or follow me on Instagram. But I do mention my newsletter a lot. I'll tell them that there are freebies there that you can't get anywhere else. I have a printable library on my website that I only open to email subscribers. And so I encourage people to that, and it keeps that email, subscriber list growing. And then that really helps me to get more views on my videos, more views on my blog posts, everything. It all just works together.
Yeah. How many
Mhm.
subscribers do you have on your email list?
A little over 20,000.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Do you
It's real
think?
good
Mhm.
because you constantly are gaining and constantly losing on an
True.
email list, because people get tired of receiving an email, and I get that. But to have 20,000 who get it,
Consistent.
half of them get it every day, and the other half get it just on Saturday. So,
Who are the people that get it every day?
so
Are they opting for like a special?
yes, they're
Mhm,
opting for that. Mhm.
mhm. Okay, and what do you think, what do you think has helped more with getting email subscribers? Your blog or YouTube or
I I think
something else?
YouTube. I think
Mhm.
YouTube because I do have that sign up link on there, and it seems like when I look at my analytics, it looks like most of those are coming from YouTube.
I know that I personally have a lot of my boot camper students and even clients that have talked about starting an email list, and I
Mhm.
think it's especially beneficial when you have a niche like yours, what would be, say, 3 major tips and maybe a mistake that you made when it comes to starting your own email list, especially if you have a YouTube channel?
Hmm. Okay, so guess one of the major tips is you do need to offer something, like a
Mhm.
reason to sign up, and it needs to be something good. It needs to be something relevant, and it can change. It doesn't have to be the same thing all the time. It can change, seasonally or monthly or whatever. But I do think you have to offer people a reason. That said, I think then you've got to continue to offer them reasons. So once again, I really try to serve those subscribers. I realize that those subscribers, they've really like invested. I show up in their email box, and they
Yeah,
probably get lots
every
of
day.
emails. Right. And so if I want them to open that email, then I need to make sure I have something of value in there. So I give them some things in there that are not on YouTube, that are not on my blog itself. Just extra, like a style board or a link to, links to the really good sales that are going on, or some personal glimpses into my life, what I'm wearing today, or what's
Mhm.
in my cart, that sort of thing, or answers to their questions even. So I give them just some separate stuff in that newsletter. It's got to be worth opening. They then, like I said, I have that printable library on my website that only they can access. There's a password that's in the bottom of the email, and they use that to access that. So that means I've got to keep that up too. I have to keep that library up and keep it stocked with some good stuff too. The mistake, I think, is just kind of getting complacent and using that newsletter. Like, here's a link to my website, or here's a link to the video. Yay, go do that.
Mhm.
But they need more than that.
Mhm.
You've got to be personable with them, which that's a fine balance. Sometimes people are like, they unsubscribe because I don't need to know all that stuff, or that I don't care what
I'm
you
here for the
did
fashion. Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah,
But
yeah.
other people want that, so it's kind of a
Mhm.
keeping a balance there. And also, what you put in the subject matter does matter, because that's that clickbait, so to speak. It's
Mhm.
what's going to
Mhm.
get people to open it. Yeah.
How do you do an email every day? Like, how do you decide what to give them? I'm like, that's a lot of emails.
Well, so it's really not every day. It's Monday through Saturday though, so it's just not
Well, I
Sunday.
mean,
Well,
that's a
so
lot of
there's a
emails.
blog post so
Mhm.
I put up a blog post still every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and there's a video
Oh,
Wednesday.
wow. So
So
you're still doing 4 blog posts a week.
So I have new
Okay.
content 5 days a week. And then on Saturday is just like the roundup, but I do extra things there. Like I provide the top sellers and, Q&A and stuff like
Mhm.
that in that newsletter. So yeah, lots of
Wow.
content.
Lots of content. And
Uh-huh.
what's your tech stack for the emails?
Yeah, I'm on MailChimp, which is probably not
MailChimp. Okay.
great because it's
Okay.
expensive, but
Yeah, I think over 20,000. Yeah.
yeah, it is expensive. And
Mhm.
so people say, I am paying for you to
Yeah.
get
To
this
be on this
newsletter.
list. Yeah. Yeah.
They act
Yeah.
like they're paying for something. Like, this is free to you, but I'm paying
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah.
So it is expensive, but I got started on it a long time
And you're
ago,
so
and
used to it.
I'm just so used to it. And it's just so
Mhm.
the days are packed with plenty of technical problems as it is. I just
Oh,
don't want
yeah.
to get one more
I
and
know.
change that. So I haven't. Maybe I will one of these days, but I haven't so far.
And you've done so much with your content,
Mhm.
blogging, YouTube, the newsletter. What do you feel has contributed the most to your overall income?
Oh gosh, really, we have made sure, or I've made sure that I've created several income streams. It's hard to say, because I do make really good money from my sponsors at this point, from both the blog and the YouTube channel. I make good money on ads, really about not quite the same. I make more money on my blog ads than I do my YouTube ads most of the time, not always. And then the affiliate sales, are good. It's hard to figure it out because, like, for instance, with LTK, they want you to also have a big presence in that LTK shop on their app.
Mhm,
I
mhm,
don't.
mhm.
I have
Yeah.
some, but not a huge. But they send me these statistics, like where your sales are coming from. They come 50% from the blog and 50% from the YouTube channel.
Mm,
And then the others, a lot of them are just directly from my newsletter. So,
mhm.
really, so it's kind of both at this point.
50-50, the YouTube and
Yes,
blog?
I do think so. Yes, but I think they contribute to each other.
Mhm,
It's kind of like a package deal at this point, and
mhm.
they both help me do what I do at the other one. And so, but yeah, the income is probably about the same, sponsorship wise, affiliate wise, and ad wise from both of those platforms.
Oh, wow. So
Mhm,
how many hours a week are you working when you're effectively doing 2,
mhm,
almost like 2 platforms
mhm,
and everything associated with both of those? I know your
mhm,
husband helps you with the
mhm,
tech side of things. I don't know how much we didn't get into, like, does he do the emails or anything, or is it really just
mhm.
tech and you're still doing the editing? So how many hours a week are you working on this? And how
Too
many
many.
hours? Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
Well, it's a lot, and I say it is a full-time job plus some, but,
Mhm,
honestly, Erica, some days it's just I think I just don't wanna work, and so to work at all feels like a lot. The good thing is it's all flexible. Like I was able to go visit my family and take my work with me. I can't take my YouTube editing with me. That's on a mainframe, like a platform computer. So I can't take that. But I can take my laptop with me and do so much. And I'm going on vacation. I can take it with me. So it's work all, and it also, I'm sure you've talked to so many other YouTubers that would say the same thing. It's on my mind 24/7.
so
So
you would say
that
you probably work a lot at this
I
point.
work a lot.
Yeah.
I would say probably though, realistically 40 hours a week, maybe
Mhm,
50 some
mhm.
weeks. Hmm.
And I know you've mentioned the possibility of what you're 61 now,
Hmm.
and you've mentioned the possibility of possibly retiring, like, around 65, 66. Do you know, do you think that's gonna happen? What do you think needs to
Hmm.
happen what do you think has to happen in order for that to transpire?
We just have to stay on the same trajectory. If we
Mhm,
can continue like we're doing business wise, earnings wise, we are doing well to retire. I mean, my husband, contributed to our, retirement very, very responsibly for 30
mhm,
plus years.
mhm,
So that's good. We should be able to retire. What my goal right now kind of is, as we talk about it, it kind of changes now and then, but we're kind of thinking a soft retirement at 65, but I would keep working, maybe still one video a week and one blog post a week, just cut back until 67.
mm.
Just because, because why not? It's,
Yeah, why not?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not, once you get things going and if you just do what you know to do, I mean,
Mhm,
you can still make some income. And so at that point, we may not make as much as we're doing now, but we could certainly still bring in money and,
mhm,
just make our retirement a little better. The main thing we don't want to do is we don't want to retirement to, the years of being able to travel and to enjoy our grandkids and those sorts of things to pass us by. We feel like your health is just not a guarantee. And so right now, even we are traveling, a good little bit each year and just taking advantage of that. So, and I just want to get to the point where I can just completely stop eventually and really
mhm.
enjoy my family and enjoy traveling.
Yeah, and your husband, he's technically retired. He has been since you started this, right? But he works technically with you.
Yeah, so he pastors a small home church, doesn't
Mm.
doesn't draw an income there, and then he is a volunteer chaplain for two rural police departments. So he
Oh,
doesn't
that's
draw
cool.
an income there either, and then he works for me, and he does a lot. So he does my photography, and he develops those pictures,
Mhm,
and then he does the videography. And then he also does things like my returns and just
mhm.
all the errands. And he
Yeah.
cooks all of our meals now. Where I
Oh,
used to do
nice.
all the cooking. He cooks
Yeah,
most of the meals.
that's
He does
awesome.
a lot around the house. So he is very busy. But so we very much see it as a team effort, even
Yeah,
though, yeah, I'm doing, clearly 85% of this job for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's great. It's teamwork,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
teamwork makes the dream work and all that.
Right. Right.
Um, in your video that you uploaded not too long ago, it was about, like, horrible things after 50. You shared some pretty personal challenges like your hair loss. How do you decide which personal struggles to share versus keeping private, especially knowing that, your audience might face some of these same issues and it could help them?
Right. So that's kind of the key is if I think it's something that's a common denominator, between me and my viewers, and if I'm in a good place, to share it, then I do. If I feel like it can be helpful, like if it can serve them, I um I guess my husband and I both, with him, being in the pulpit for so many years, we feel not like we're trying to protect ourselves or like be private, but we just don't want to bore people with our person. So I've just always
Yeah.
been one not to. I don't want to do a lot of whining, and I don't want to do a lot of complaining. I don't. That is so that kind of sometimes keeps me from probably sharing as much as maybe I should. Maybe I should share more. I just don't want to come across as whiny and everything. So I don't share a lot of things because I certainly go through a lot of things that I don't share. But honestly, it's just I'm thinking I don't want to bore them with this, or I don't want to come across as being whiny. And then at some point, I think, okay, maybe I should share that because maybe that's relatable and, that could benefit them. Not even necessarily like, hey, I should do it like Kay's doing it, or I should you use her same solution, but just knowing, hey, there's somebody else going through this too,
Yeah.
sometimes is helpful to people.
I think it's incredible that you've at the age, or how old were you when you started your blog? Like
Uh,
50,
54, I guess. Was that
54?
right?
I mean, when you think about starting your blog and then doing your YouTube, what a massive just life change that's
Yeah.
been for you.
Yeah.
And looking back, what do you think are, say, like the top 3 best decisions that you've made?
Well, one was just to do it,
Mhm.
just to go for it. And I, even though sometimes the work gets overwhelming and other negative factors too, like the criticisms and just, all that too, can really start getting me down. In the end, I really love having a voice in women's lives. I do. I love making an
Mhm.
impact. I get amazing, amazing emails and comments and things from my viewers and my readers telling me that I've made a difference in their lives in ways I never thought I could. So I love that. So just doing it, just taking that step because so many people don't. And I wish they would because you can do more than you think you can. Another decision I think that I made though that's been so important is to just always make sure things are good quality. And, not every video is great and not every blog post is great, but that's my goal. I think quality is so important. I think that's what sustains you. I think that's what, that's like a threshold that people like sometimes can't get past. Like if you're watching something and it's not good lighting or good sound, you're like, okay, I'm not watching that anymore.
Yeah,
So it's
especially
just,
YouTube. Mhm.
yes, it's just very important. And I want my viewers and my readers to feel like they're valued enough that I put in, the effort and I make things
Mhm.
good. So I
Mhm.
think that's important. Another good decision I think I've made is um, trying, to relate to my audience and trying to serve them. I always tell people that's really important. Just keep that constantly at the forefront of your mind is to serve people, because you are asking them too. You're asking them, hey, shop through my links. Hey, subscribe
Mhm.
to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter, follow me here. So if you're asking all those things, you got to offer them something. So I do have to constantly remind myself to serve people. I'm not a
Mhm.
servant by nature. I'm just
Yeah.
not. So
Yeah.
I have to remind myself to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely a decision I have to make.
What have you done when you've maybe seen things slip or falter? Meaning, like, has there ever been a time where you're like, "Oh, I'm not getting the brand deals like I used to," or
Mm.
"Oh, I'm not getting the views," or "It doesn't seem like people are clicking on the affiliate links." Has that happened? And
Mhm.
what was the situation around that, and how did you deal with it?
Yeah, like one of the craziest things that maybe you could tell me if you hear other people having this, but I've had a few times, a few seasons when I've like started losing YouTube subscribers, like
Mhm.
in bulk. Like, where are
Mhm.
they going?
Mhm.
And that like just like knocks the wind out of you a little bit. I just got through one of those and I've started climbing back up again. Same thing. I'll have the same thing at my newsletter. I'll start getting unsubscribes, or just suddenly people just seem to like not like anything. They're just verbally telling you they don't like things. It just seems like those things come in waves. And those are hard for me. And I don't know if I handle them really well or not. I mean, honestly, they do kind of, like I said, knock the wind out of me a little bit. My husband is really good about picking me up off the floor and, setting me straight and reminding me of things that, get me going in the right direction again. I just have to try to put things in perspective. I have learned though, after so many years of that now, that, okay, just hold on, because things will generally, especially if you keep going the way you're going, unless if you just suddenly start doing stupid things. But if you keep going the way you're going, things will turn around. Usually I do find that there are just natural, I guess, ebbs and flows, to people's affinity,
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes it's just biding your time. And though then again, too, sometimes that's when I remind myself, okay, check your content calendar. Are you providing anything besides, hey, here's a great outfit. Here's a great outfit. Here's a great outfit.
Are you getting like
So
stuff?
yeah. So
Mhm.
today I posted a blog post with 7 ways to create visually appealing or visually, pleasing outfits,
Mhm.
because people like tips like that. And
Mhm.
I have to remind myself they need that, especially
Yeah.
somebody who's new to the blog or new to the YouTube channel. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just a matter of bringing myself back to, okay, what are you trying to do here? Get back to doing that. Quit trying to sell. Quit trying to, quit looking at your analytics so much and start just doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And which is what?
Really encouraging women to get dressed for their day and giving them the tools to do that.
Yeah.
Because what I found, Erika, the reason, like in 2018, one of the main reasons I titled my blog and then later my YouTube channel what I did was because I looked around me and I realized that so many women in their 50s and beyond just kind of stop. They
Mhm.
stop getting dressed. They stop putting on any makeup, stop doing their hair, stop making any effort, and they just kind of phone it in. And I think it's because once you've raised your kids, or maybe you're coming to the close of your career, you start feeling kind of like wait a minute, who am I? Do I really matter anymore? Is anybody paying attention to me anymore? Do I even have a
Mhm.
voice? What's the point? And you may not feel that way every day, but you feel that way some days.
Mhm.
And so I just felt like it's really important to encourage women to keep putting in the effort and keep showing up. It's just like I do feel like women of all ages need to keep staying up with technology. In the same way, we need to
Mhm.
keep staying up with our appearance and with like what's in style. I tell women, quit trying to look younger than you are. You get all, people get so obsessed about I look older, I look older. Well, you know what?
Mm.
You're going to look older.
But
It's
you are older.
okay.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
But if you can dress modern, like look current, then that's actually going to make you look a little younger. Well,
Mhm.
to do that, you got to know what's current. So
Yeah.
part of my job is just to help women know what's current. And boy, we fight battles over that because they want to wear what they wore 20 years ago,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
want to keep wearing the skinny jeans, or they want, boy, I mean, like my viewers and readers, they get real stuck on the lengths of pants and skirts too. So like
Mm.
they a lot of them just are the age where they think everything should be full length. They can't comprehend ankle length, which I
Oh,
don't
oh.
understand.
Okay.
And they'll talk about how things are high waiters. I'm like, why? I don't know. So I've been like, fight the battle to like help you. No, ankle length is in, and you
Yeah.
can wear every shoe with ankle length jeans and ankle length pants. So, I just kind of see it that's my job, is to help
Mhm.
women stay current so that they can look their best.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have that conversation with a lot of my clients too. It's like what is your job exactly, right? It's like that
Mhm.
is your job to tell
Right.
people about the trends, or that is
Yes.
your job. That is what people are coming to you for. Is you are supposed to go to the store and try on a bunch of stuff and pick the
Yeah.
best of the best. Like
Yes.
you're curating things. Like
That's
that
right.
is your job. And some people are like, "Oh yeah, I guess that's true." Like, yes, that's what people are coming to you for. So
Right.
exactly what you said. Speaking of being like up to date with trends and like technology, are you, and if you are, how are you using AI in
Yeah.
your business?
Yeah, I'm probably not up on that as much as I should be. I have used it occasionally. Like I use it to a degree to find topics for YouTube. I did not too long ago. I did use it to almost kind of script my video a little, like, or give me an outline for a video. I don't always do that, but I just happened to have put something in there and it started generating one. And I thought, okay, well, let's
Like,
go with
okay.
this.
Yeah.
And I kind of refined it a little bit, and I liked it, so I used it. But other than that, I don't use it a whole lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I think when you have a niche like fashion, it
Uh,
it doesn't really, you can use it so much, right? It's,
yeah, yeah,
you're not going to
I
sit there
guess.
and script out a whole script or whatever. So,
Right.
have there been any video topics you've done that you were so excited about, and then you're like, oh, that just really flopped?
Oh, always. Yeah, like, I don't know, I'd have to look over my content calendar, but, there have definitely been some that I thought, "Okay, this is gonna be the winner. It's gonna be so good," and then, like crickets, it just doesn't take off.
Yeah.
I've learned that my videos that do really well generally get picked up by some outside source. I don't know what it
Like
is. It could
Google
even
search.
well, it just says, like in the analytics, it says this one's coming from an outside yeah, but it's not even it doesn't say it's coming from because it lists, Google.
Google search is usually what I
Right,
find for outside.
right, right, but this one says it just says external source other than Google search. It says because it lists, Google search,
Yeah.
YouTube search, this one, it always says unknown external. So what I think happens is like some kind of newsy, you know, internet magazine type thing or something like that,
Mm.
or maybe somebody, I don't know, that is recommended me.
That
And
happens to
that,
a lot of your videos?
yes, it happens to maybe like one or two a month sometimes,
Hmm.
and it does depend on the topic. If it's a good topic that's kind of universal to women my age,
Mhm.
that seems to work well. So yeah, I think there is somebody or maybe somebody's,
Mhm.
entities that occasionally pick up my video and promote it through their new little newsletter
Channel.
type
Mhm.
thing. Like,
Mhm.
like on an internet, platform of
Yeah,
some
yeah,
sort.
yeah. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. What is something that you're working on right now in your business that maybe you're really excited about, but also scared that it might not work?
Okay. I don't know if anything that I don't know that I'm working on anything really new
No.
right
Okay.
now. No, I'm really I'm constantly just trying to, like I said, stay in my lane, so to
Mhm.
speak, as far as serving these women. I don't know. The only thing different that I'm doing well, there's two things I'm doing different right now that are kind of new as far as like the last 6 months, anyhow. One, I'm working more with ShopMy, that affiliate program, and linking more with them on their platform. Even you can actually post your YouTube video on there with all the links which is really cool. And I'm getting lots of little opportunities, kind of little mini sponsorships through them that I'm actually bringing onto YouTube and using there. So that, and then the other thing is just more consistently using YouTube links and the time stamping. And that doesn't work with all videos. I can't always do that with my sponsored videos. So, I'm really trying because I've really been shooting for that bonus. But I didn't get as high as I want to probably this quarter because I can't always do that. But that time stamping is working. So I'm kind of trying to, you see something like that will generate more income. So you try to like develop your videos around it. Well, then you realize, okay, wait a minute though. I've also got to have these sponsorships, and I've also got to serve my viewers. So it's a constant balancing act there.
How do you stay organized?
Oh boy, if you saw, oh my goodness, like the clothing itself, keeping that organized is
Yeah,
just, I mean,
that's a
right
lot.
now my office has clothes all over there. The next room over is my guest bedroom. There's clothes all over
Clothes
there.
everywhere.
Yeah, it's just a mess. I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
so right, but especially because we're in between seasons,
Mhm.
so that's
Mhm.
and then, but the organized as far as like my task and as far as my content, I do pretty well. So I do use Google calendars. And then I also do have a paper calendar though that I use for my content calendar. So I do pretty well with my sponsorships and all the things I have due, and just planning out my content on a paper calendar that just works best for me.
Are you using ShopMy more than LTK? I'm hearing that it seems like it seems to be getting a little bit more popular and more so than LTK, where I felt like in the past LTK is what everybody was doing and everyone was trying to get in there and like trying to get the brand deals through LTK and putting all their eggs in that basket. But now I'm hearing that ShopMy is the newest kid on the block that everybody's loving right now.
Evidently. And that's what I hear too from a lot of people. And yeah, I'm definitely using ShopMy more. They are generally offering higher commissions, and they are just easier to work with. And, it's not just that though. Initially it kind of was, and I'm in a group with other creators, content creators. Some of them are YouTubers, some are bloggers, some are just Instagrammers. And we all talk about this a lot. And initially it was just that they offer higher commissions and that they are a little easier to work with, and they're not promoting the app all the time. And we all get kind of tired of the LTK app, especially in my age demographic. My demographic, I know they're on there, I get that, but they're not on there the way younger ones are. And so it just doesn't make sense for me. But it's not just that. It's that I don't feel that the LTK values my platforms as much as ShopMy does. ShopMy seems to like, whatever your platform is, that's where we want you to put our links. And my platforms are my blog and my YouTube channel. And so ShopMy offers some really great tools for me to use on my YouTube channel. Just for instance, like I mentioned, that I can actually put my video on the ShopMy platform, and I can put my links under there. I can link everything under there. Well, also when I go to share those links on my YouTube video, I can click on a little thing there and they organize my entire description box for me. All I have to do is copy and paste all that with one click into my description box. I mean, that's such a time saver for me.
Yeah.
So ShopMy does several things like that, where they seem to value where's your audience? That's where we want you, to take us, rather than bring everybody to our app. So yeah.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that with, and this is just, rumor, but I talk to YouTubers all day long, and many of them are in, the fashion, lifestyle, beauty niche. And they've always said they felt like when it came to LTK that YouTube was just totally unappreciated and they were uninterested. It was like Instagram and the LTK app. It was like Instagram, LTK. They're like, we felt like as YouTubers, we were like the redheaded stepchild, which is crazy because what I've heard is that, and I've seen is that generally speaking, YouTubers, I don't know how that compares to blog. I know blogging, obviously, you could do very well with blogging, but YouTubers are generally the ones, at least according to the brands and people I talk to, that are generating the most amount of affiliate conversions and sales.
Right. Right. And so, I hate to misspeak, because I do have a YouTube sponsored video with LTK with, a brand Talbot's in a couple of weeks. So it's not like they're not giving me anything.
Still doing things. I know they're still out doing their thing.
But overall, I do not feel like they support and what I had to realize, because for a couple of years I got invited to LTK Con, 3 years I went, and I was constantly trying to grow my LTK shop. And then one day I realized, wait a minute, that's not my business. That's growing their business, which I don't mind doing as they support me. But I have to grow my business, and my business is on YouTube and my website. That's my business. And so I'm working with the affiliate programs that help me grow my business. That's what I have bandwidth for, is to build my business.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Kate, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you and learning more about you and what you do. You're such a inspiring, I think, person, as a woman, as a business owner. To me, it's incredibly inspirational that you went from being a stay-at-home mom and now having a second career that you're making some major moves in your industry and in your niche. So thank you so much for sharing everything with me and our viewers today. And I'm just enjoying our conversation. So thank you.
You're so welcome. I just want to say one thing about that you just mentioned, becoming a YouTuber and a blogger at 54. And that is that I just really believe in seasons of life. And that's another thing I really try to encourage young women in, is that there are seasons. And I'm really proof that you can do one thing for so many years and then you can pivot and do something completely different. And I know other people my age. I have an aunt who, when she was in her 50s, she got a different degree and she went to changed jobs completely. And people do it, and it can be very fulfilling and exciting. And so if you're, especially when you're raising a family, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're working still, that season looks very unique and different. And then after those children are gone, you can do something completely different.
Yeah.
I do think that we have to kind of take advantage of those seasons that life brings us.
I love that. Well, Kay, thank you. Thank you
You're
so
so
much.
welcome.
Yeah, this has been a wonderful conversation. Appreciate you hanging out with me for an hour and just kind of, telling us about your life as a YouTuber and blogger.
Yes. Oh, you're so welcome, Erika. And really thank you for having me, because, I have watched you and listened to your podcast for years. I guess really ever since I got started doing this.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you have been a big help to me. I have really taken deep dives into some of your videos and just learned. I mean, like even the short ones, where you update us on things. I watched those, and I've really learned from some of the the other YouTubers that you've had on here. Like specifically, I remember when Marnie Goldberg was on here, and she's a friend of mine anyhow, but I remember you asking her about how she handles criticism, and just her response to you really put me on a different trajectory as far as how I handle criticism. So your videos and just the interviews that you've had with other people who do this has really inspired me and helped me out.
I appreciate that. That means so much, because that's why I
Sure.
do this. Is I don't know who I'm reaching. You don't know. I didn't even know that with you, because
Yeah.
and when I reached out and then you're like, oh yeah, I watch your videos. I'm like, oh, you do? Like, that's awesome. So thank you so much. That means a lot.
Sure.
And where can people find you if they're not familiar with you and your work?
So yeah, my YouTube channel is Dressed for My Day with Kay Harms, and I'd love for people to join me there. And like I said, I have a video up every Wednesday. And then I'm also at dressedformyday.com is the blog. And I am on Instagram. It's Dressed for My Day. It's kind of written kind of weird, but if you put that in the search engine, it'll come up. I guess that's it. I'm on Facebook also. I think there it's called Kay's Style page or something. I don't know. But there's a link. There's always a link in my YouTube description boxes. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kay.
Sure.
Bye.